Money Radio, discussing the business of making and spending money.
Welcome viewers to another edition of Transport Focus on Money Radio, reaching you on Leadership Television. My name is Winifred Ugo, and with me is your in-house guest, AGK. AGK, you're welcome to today's edition of program.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you so much. So we are going to be discussing on release of abducted train passengers and the quest for train service resumption. So, the last hostage that was taken, about 23 of them, were released recently. So we are going to be talking on how prepared is the Nigerian Railway Corporation ahead of the resumption of train services on the Abuja-Kaduna rail line. Educate, how prepared is Nigerian Railway Corporation now that the last batch of the hostages, 23 of them, have been released?
Yeah, I would rather say that I'm disappointed in them because
How?
I was expecting that when the announcement for the release of the last batch was made, the federal government would have immediately told us that within 1 week or thereabouts, the train service should resume. Because what happened is that there was a security lapse as a result of some missing equipment that weren't fixed on the train, on the rail line. And when this thing happened, when the attack happened on March 28th, federal government admitted that yes, we had an issue with equipment that we wanted to purchase.
But however, if I may recall, AGK, that issue of security equipment, FEC did come out with his own rebuttal that he didn't follow due process and that the proposer coming from the former minister didn't follow due process, and besides, it didn't meet all the requirements that the company that was stated there to execute the contract has not even executed contract of even up to $1 million or $5 million. So how can the company now be the one to execute a multi-billion contract like that?
$3 billion contract. That shouldn't be an excuse. If you said that you were not comfortable with the company, that the minister was projecting about 3 or thereabouts, you could as well suggest companies to the minister. If you're not comfortable with the equipment, you could as well say this equipment that you're saying will not work. Nobody has used it before. We want the one that people have used. Bring another one for us. But what FEC did is that FEC killed the idea instantly. They stepped it down, and it wasn't discussed again. And the vice president headed that FEC that day.
While
the president was not around. And when the president came back, the proposal was not presented to him again. And everybody forgot about that until something happened. Remember, this thing is not just this year that they presented that.
No, it doesn't.
It was just last year or 2 years ago.
2 years
now, you had a proposal that you didn't like. You couldn't ask for, okay, Mr. Minister, bring in the next FEC meeting, bring another one for us. We are not okay with it. Because you just killed the proposal and you made sure that nothing happened, and everybody forgot about it until the terrorists attacked the train. You now remember, the minister remember. In fact, I will blame the minister too. You now remember that yes, you had submitted something and they didn't approve. And even they approved it, we would have noticed when they planted the bombs. And the first two came out to say no, what you brought was not what we wanted. That's an excuse for Christ's sake. Okay, what has happened? Let's forget about that. That has happened. That has gone. Now we have 6 months gap between March
since March.
And they kidnapped and they were negotiating and they were releasing them in batches. And the minister, both the former and the current minister, and the federal government by the president, could not fix the same equipment up until this moment. After the release of the last batch, you're not talking about, okay, and now we need time to fix the security equipment to resume. Is that, should we be talking about that?
No, still on this hostage taking of the train that was hijacked. How technology driven is Nigerian Railway Corporation? Because during the attack, we heard of conflicting figures of passengers on that Ife train.
Yeah, I think even though they may not be perfect, I think part of what we're hearing was just from Now, what happened is that the people sat at home and assumed. In fact, that first report, I could remember that particular report. I had problems with my editor of that. When they told me that they said over 900 people were abducted, I said, editor, even by my calculation of the coaches, they are not up to 900%. He said, no, that there is a report already that said over 900. So we must do the same line. And that is what happens in media. If the first report is wrong, everybody will follow that line. Until when somebody wakes up and do the right thing, and the editor publishes the right thing, people will now start rethinking. Now that the first person used, I think it was 970 passengers abducted, feared abducted, all those big words. Every report of that day carried 900 and something passengers. At the end of the day, NLC came out and said the people on that train were not even up to 400, 300 and something, about 320 something.
Why many Nigerians also allege that the corporation was actually downplaying it because they made so much money. I mean,
there is no way you could have downplayed, because if you have donated 900 people, the families will come out. Remember that there is no way you can hide over 500 passengers and the families will not say, I've not seen my person. Even after the protest, you observe the protest for a while. Every day you see people coming out, this is my person, and the pictures were there. And at some point, the terrorists released the pictures of the abducted people. And everybody could see that they were not even up to. There were 60 something passengers. There were 10 to 15 completing report, 10, 14 died, 60 something abducted. And they released the picture and the video. So there was no way you could say that 900 were there. Okay, what happened to the numbers? What happened to them? Did they just open grave and bury all of them? And the families kept quiet. So it's just that problem. When somebody publishes a fake report, everybody tends to follow that line until when the real report comes out. And NRC, now talking about technology, NRC has a portal where you buy tickets from. So as soon as you buy your ticket, it's registered there. If they open it today and I buy one, you buy two, that's the names may not be accurate. But the number of passengers that bought ticket for that coach or for that train must be there. So that is the issue. Now, the way they had another problem was the staff that were going home. The staff don't buy tickets. They just finish. If you're going to Kaduna or anywhere along that line, you just enter the train and you go. So these staff were not captured online. So that's where we started having the conflicting figures until when they started doing audit within themselves. And some friends were saying, no, this guy left to join the train and he's part of them. And they came up with that number. And thank God for I think there's a little bit of sincerity in it, because during the release of the passengers and up until the moment they released the last 23, nobody has come out to say my person is still missing. You understand? Because if any person is still missing, somebody will wake up and say, I've not seen my person. But I think for now, we are okay. My only challenge with them is that they should have fixed the train, the security equipment or whatever, before now. We have 6 months, for Christ's sake. We could have done a lot.
Why do you think there's laxity or it's lapse?
They just ignored it. The new minister, the former minister who had a drive for railway, left to follow politics and resigned along the line. The new minister came in and is not interested in railway. He's interested in maritime. You know, this transport section, he has so many sections.
Yes.
The man is not interested in railway. He has never been interested. He went there once, saw the things, and just every day, every activity, week in, week out, is on maritime. So it will take a lot of passion for you to come and tweet his idea towards the railway. And that was why he forgot about this equipment. They just remember this equipment now because they released it. Believe me, if they did not release them till next year, federal government, the minister, they will not remember this equipment. They will relax. But now that they release it, Nigerians are asking you, okay, why? Let's start the train now. They now remember, oh, we've not even filled it. The minister is now saying, give me some time. We need to make sure that the train is properly secured.
How secure? Because during this time that the passengers were taken hostage, does that mean that the train, the coach, they were not fixed?
No, the thing is this: there is a control. There is a control room in Nigeria Railway where you monitor activities on the track,
Yeah.
but you don't see them. What happens is that when a train is leaving point A to point B, there is communication
Mm.
to ensure that okay, point B is free, you can come. What happened that from my inside information on March 28th, in the morning of March 28th, the communication was lost, but they did not take it serious.
Why was
Something happened. I'm sure that was when those guys planted those bombs.
mm, mm,
The communication was lost, but they did not take it seriously. They continued their operation. You know, Nigeria, now let's manage it.
mm,
Let's manage it until evening. It was the last train for the day, 6 o'clock train that they attacked.
mm,
Which means this guy planted those things because had they been planted in the afternoon,
mm.
yeah,
Would have captured?
the train would have been bombed in the afternoon.
Yeah.
But they planted it in the evening. I'm sure they came, they cut off the communication first
Mm,
because the communication equipment is always by the road on the track. So I'm sure they disconnected it and they left. Then in the evening they came back and planted those bombs. Now the people who were in the control room, everybody should be blamed for that. But nobody talked about that.
And what has happened?
No, it's the
Nothing
information
has
that
happened
I
to
had
them. Okay.
from inside source. Nobody mentioned it. Nobody had mentioned it. But it's an inside source information. But they didn't talk about it because nobody wants to be blamed.
Mm,
So now the thing has happened. What it means is that our track is not secured.
it's insecure.
We have security men in the coaches, police army in the coaches, guarding them. But what about the tracks? So that is why they are looking for equipment.
Let's go on the short break. When we come back, we are going to be discussing more on the preparations to resume the Kaduna Abuja train corridor. Don't go away. Stay tuned.
For sponsorship and advert placements, please contact 080-3688-6158. Last Word Leadership Podcast Studio. You have the last word.
Money Radio, discussing the business of making and spending money.
Welcome back. This is Transport Focus on Money Radio, reaching you on Leadership Television. My name is Winifred Okubo, and with me is our in-house guest analyst on the sector, HK. Thank you so much. As you were saying, you talked about communication compromise during the hijack of
Yes,
the
I,
Abuja train.
I, I, I was trying to say that I had the privileged information that the signal was disrupted in the morning of that day.
Mm.
But you know, this side of the story was not put out because nobody will want to pin the blame on any person. So it's an inside story and they handled it.
And it's the usual Nigerian way. Nobody takes responsibility.
Yeah,
for their
I'm sure within the NRC they must have handled it. But it's not something that should be projected for the sake of some people's job. But what it means is that that's why Amechi was pushing for that equipment, the former minister. Equipment that will help both the MD of Nigeria Railways, the train service manager, the minister, whoever, all important stakeholders to be seeing the track so that even when one person misses something, another person will have seen something. So the Amechi was proposing for equipment that would be planted on the train track from Abuja to Kaduna, so that even if you fly, perches on the track, you'll see it. It will give you a signal that something is happening on the track. So because the greatest challenge we have is that our train tracks pass through the bushes.
Yes.
So you can't even, and Nigerian terrain is difficult. Sometimes you have cows moving on the train tracks. You have series of situations where the train kills some cows. So, and you cannot fence it from here to Kaduna. So, assuming we can, even if you fence it, some person can jump through the fence and come and do something. So that is why they are looking for equipment that will help them to monitor these tracks, so that whenever something happens to it, you see it.
So over 7 months now that there's been stoppage of the Abuja-Kaduna rail, how much do you think what's the estimated cost that we have lost so far?
That should be an issue for in-house, because nobody has an accurate figure that they make on a daily basis. So I wouldn't want to speak for them or speak against them.
And why is the minister not so much in a haste to restore normalcy?
No, the minister, I think is ready to restore, but the fact is that the minister is overwhelmed. He was just brought in from another ministry and given a big place like transport. Transport is one of the biggest places in this administration, both in financial, budget, and everything. There are a lot of work to be done. So he came in and he chose to focus on management, like I said before. So everything is maritime. So I think, except if you can understand that, okay, I need to divide my attention. Now, if you can't do it, you can dedicate the job to the Minister of State. You are the Minister of State.
Or the prime sector?
No, the PAMSEC cannot do that. Because the PAMSEC has some limits that she cannot approve or do. So, Minister of State has the power right like a minister. Dedicate the job to him. Whenever I see anyone that is too difficult to understand, come back, you guys will discuss and if you want to focus on maritime, focus there. Minister will say, okay, this ray that is very important to Nigerians, handle this part. But Nigeria, nobody is interested in doing that because everybody wants to eat from everywhere. So their interest is on what they can get from each of the sectors. And the focus is on maritime because there are about $350 million in maritime to be shared. And they are planning to share it. So everybody is focusing there. So until they realize that we need to focus on the rail, which is is the only thing that this administration did for this country. Construction of rail, Lagos Ibadan, and this Abuja one that Jonathan started, President Jonathan started, and they finished. And the worry that they own, that they
President, you just mentioned about the railways lines now across the country. Do you think presently the railway system that we have with Nigerian Railway Corporation is providing alternative route to road transportation in Nigeria?
It's not doing that, of course. We don't have railway system. How many do we have? We have the old ones, but the old ones are not even working. And you have all those old trains on it, those locomotive trains. So that one is as good as gone, being gone. Now, they had an idea, in fact, it was Obasanjo time that they had this idea of, okay, let us bring back full modern railways. Obasanjo started the process. Jonathan continued. Buhari now started completing because they completed this Abuja-Kaduna. They did not start it. So there were 90%, 95%. They completed. They built Lagos Ibadan fully. And the Abuja, the Warri Takbe, they repaired it. So these are the three major things we are seeing. The old one, there's one in Lagos who went to Meduguri and Co. But these are old track. So that one is for load and all those things. So these are the three major ones. So you can't say they are doing anything. Okay, look at what is happening in Lokoja. The flood and everything. They succeeded in linking that to Warri Takbe. They stopped it. But to Lokoja is about 5 minutes or 10 minutes drive. Even they succeeded in linking it to Abuja. We wouldn't be having crisis. When you have crisis with the road and the flood, you follow the rate. couldn't do it. And now we are having serious issues. The China people that are giving us loans for this project say they are not giving it. They're also watching Nigeria to see what 2023 will bring about. Whenever you're going into election, every country becomes careful with you. They don't know what will happen after the election. So everybody is observing. And that is why we are here now. And we don't have the finances. Now we have Kaduna to Kano, another project going on. They were supposed to get 85% of the funding from China, 15% from federal government. China said they don't have money. So the federal government is using their 15% to build. And we can't go to anywhere. The last time it was about 12%. So it's a big issue. So as it is now, the rail system is not even in Nigeria. We should be talking about this. So we want to focus there. But for now, we're not serving as any alternative. We don't have any, the only alternative to road is air for now.
So now that the Minister Transportation is not so focused on railway service, so does that mean, what does it portend that Nigerians in that corridor, Abuja-Kaduna, are going to be without railway services for a long time?
We are going to start. We're going to start it. But
without the
security? No, of course, we'll start it with the security. They can't risk it again. They can't risk it. Instead of that, they've not been doing anything. They've not been working for the past 6 months. So it's better to stay another 2 months and get it right than to risk it and start operation without equipment.
You see the money going to be approved within 2 months to procure the
president gave express approval when that thing happened for the procurement of all those equipment. So it was just that nobody followed it up. President gave express approval. The minister then left. Had even that minister was around, I can assure you that by now we would have had the safe feast. But I think the gap it was that gap between that time that he left and another one coming in. And the last thing that I want to understand the place and I'm focusing on it, and that is why they forgot about that. If not, it would have been handled since. It's not a big deal. If you're not okay with the former proposal, do another proposal and back. Say, what Nigeria needs is secure the line. It doesn't matter who's doing it or what you're doing. Secure the line. Let this thing not happen again. No matter how you're doing. So that is the situation.
Okay, thank you so much. But before we go, one more. Do you see us resuming before the year runs out?
I'm hopeful. I'm hopeful that we will resume. But I don't know if the equipment will be fixed before the year runs out. Because this equipment too, some of them are not just go and buy and fix. It takes time. In fact, remember they were saying it takes 3 to 6 months to fix. We're talking about from here to Abuja-Kaduna. So, assuming they've not started, which I believe they've not started any process, it will take them more than 3 months. So they may be forced to start the train service without completing the process. That is what I'm thinking.
And if they start, how safe will it be?
Everything will be in Gosa. Nigeria would like to say everything is in Gosa. So pray about it. I will hope that we don't have this situation again.
Thank you so much, Ejike. It's been a pleasure having you today in the studio. The program has been transport focused on Money Radio, on Leadership Television. My name is Winifred. I look forward to seeing you same time, same station next week. Bye.
Thank you for watching. For sponsorship and advert placements, please contact 080-3688-6158. Last Word Leadership Podcast Studio. You have the last word.